Hey guys, welcome back. So today we got a 2023 GV70 2.5 liter turbo. So we had got this customer complaint with multiple warning lights on our cluster, and if the camera can pick up the engine sound as if it's the RPM is elevated, right? But I'm just at idle drive, what do you call that, brake pedal on. But as you can see here, our RPM signal is 0, and you can hear that RPM, or the engine noise or sound, the RPM is elevated. So anyway, I did perform a full system scan. We got 11 codes here. Let's see the DTCs here. So we got engine control from the ECM, crankshaft position sensor, circuit range performance, pending, and we get all the active codes for the CAN signal error, EMS, EPB, IEB. So the history of this vehicle came in. The only code that I got when I first scanned this was the crankshaft position sensor. It was on history. I don't know if I drove the vehicle or I just called straight the crank sensor. So anyway, I replaced the crank sensor, started the car, no problem, cleared the code and released it, and that was Friday. The weekend it came back and they said multiple lights came on. So I got the car and I saw the picture that it was like this, and I scanned it. I don't have any crank sensor codes. I was only having all this CAN signal error, IEB. So I told them, you know what, and it was all in history. I told them that I'm gonna clear the code, let someone drive it. Maybe it's gonna take a while because I did some wiggling the engine harness and everything. It didn't give me anything. And then the valley driver came back and said that yeah, it happened after 50 kilometers per hour driving. So I went for a drive and just to see if it's really happening. So right now it's happening. So I don't know if we need to see what's going on in this one, especially the crank sensor signal or what we have there. But I'm gonna do visual check first underneath the vehicle, because when I was wiggling the engine harness, there's some bolts missing on the harness itself, like where it attaches to the valve cover and everything. So I don't know if someone did some repair on this one. I don't know. So I'm gonna put this in park, right? And then I'm gonna shut this off. By the time I'm gonna start it again, we're gonna see our, what do you call that, RPM here. We'll have a signal again, because that's what happened to me before. Like every time they shut it off, come back on, everything is good. So let's see here. Okay, so as you can see there, we got at least, I don't know, 900 RPM, something like that, and we do have multiple warning lights. And this case here, all our codes will be on history now, because I think everything is happy. Everybody's happy, except for our crank sensor. It still will say pending. So I'm just gonna clear this code. I'm gonna have a drive. We'll drive this and experience that fault. Okay, so we're gonna go drive now. So right now everything is okay, shifting and everything. We're at almost 40 kilometers per hour. So I'm gonna go around, because I think there's a lot of vehicles right now, and then I'm gonna floor it, and that's when I experience the issue. So okay, so I'm gonna floor this. Oh, there you go. It just, something happened there, shifting. What happened there? I don't have multiple warning lights. I just felt what do you call that? A jolt. Okay, there you go. So I felt first, I felt a jolting, and then I guess right now I want to limp home mode because I can't even accelerate right now. So I'm just be under, oops, because I guess he doesn't know anything right now. So it's jolting hard right now. I'm around 50 kilometers per hour. So this is all the messages that comes up after that scenario. And then let's see what we have here in our RPM signal. It should show 0 there. And then I'm gonna rescan our system again. So I'm just rescanning right now. As you can see there, we got 0 RPM on our RPM what do I call that, RPM gauge. So yeah, it's jolting hard. So after rescanning that, we have the same code still, 11 DTCs. So I'm just gonna double check anything there, especially on the circuit, because I just replaced a crank sensor in this. I think I'm gonna check just this. Let me just go here, okay? Electrical. What's it, number 4? Crank sensor. I just need to go to the crank sensor. Okay, so this is our crank sensor here. So I just want to see if this GC101 is connected there. Alright, so I'm just gonna do a visual inspection. And what else? Then I guess I'm gonna tap into our sensor signal, use our scope, and what's really going on in our signal here in our crank sensor. Why is it giving us a code? And what else? And last time I think I saw a turbocharge code under boost. So, and obviously this is connected to GC100A, to our ECM. Where's this guy here? So this part here of our ECM on this guy here. You can see here sensor power shared on our camshaft position sensor intake, our map sensor 1, map sensor 2, and a crank sensor, right? Sensor power for the camshaft exhaust is separate. So I don't know, it could be related to this, splice here. So I have also a code for a turbocharger under boost. I don't know. Let's see. So I think the best way in here is I'm gonna do a visual inspection first, and then I guess I'm gonna connect our scope and see what's going on in the signals. Alright guys, so I did check underneath, check that ground shield for our crank signal. It's bolted in the transmission. So I did look for our wires. So right now my connection will be on the ECM, because I think it's very tricky from underneath going up to the vehicle if I'm gonna make a connection there to see the signals. So all my connection will be on the ECM, my power, my ground, and the signal. And blue will be the power, supply power to the sensor. Red will be our ground for the sensor, and the green will be the signal wire or signal coming out from the crank sensor going to the ECM. So I hook up our what do you call that, our scope, and also my ground connections, because I don't have any good ground connection. I use my OBD2 what do you call that, data link connector tester so it's just like a breakout box there, so it's called breakout box, so that I can have a good connection to our ground. So I guess our next will be first, let's see our signal first on our crank sensor. So right now engine running. So let's see here. Let me stop this capture. Let's go in and see our voltage readings here. So the blue will be our voltage supply, so that's 4.9, that's good. Our ground will be the red one, and that's reading around -47 millivolts, so that's good. And our crank signal here, the green one, this is how it looks like. So far that's reading normally, right? So I want to know when that scenario, the jolting, what will happen to the signal here. Will it drop out or do something? Because the only thing that gave us a clue is the RPM signal is gone when when I drive it like that way. So we'll see. I'm gonna go drive now outside, and let's see what will be our crank signal here on our scope. Alright guys, so we're outside the building now. I noticed on our scope capture right now, I'm just cruising at 20 kilometers per hour. I can see some noises on our power supply, the 5 volts and the ground. Like there's some spikes there. I don't know if that's normal. I don't think it should be like that. So I wonder if that will contribute when I'm gonna go hard on this when I'm driving. And I can see also on our crank sensor in there. Let me just stop this quick. Stop and play again. Let me add more time here. 1 second. Okay, good. So you can see there on our blue trace and red trace that there's some spike there, right? There's some noise. So I don't know if that will correlate when the issue will happen. So let's see here the road right now. I'm gonna floor this, and I can still see that. Yeah, that's so noisy, man. Is that a connection issue? Look at that signals. That's so noisy. That's from our power supply. Power supply, ground, and of course it will affect the signal too. Yeah, it's so noisy. And then if I'm gonna let go of the accelerator, slowing down, you can see how clean that is, that signal, and some
in 300
noise
meters,
there.
traffic light camera ahead.
So I don't know if that's my connection. Well, let's see. I'm gonna go around again, because this is every time I drive around here, this is the time when the issue happens. What are you doing, man? Okay, good. Let's try this. Oh, there you go. Jolt. See that noise there on our signals? I'm gonna try one more, because until it happens. Here. Oh. That's bad. But I don't still have the warning lights. I want to see the warning lights. No warning lights. It didn't do anything. But it jolts hard. I'm gonna go one more. Go around and see. Okay, I'm gonna do this one more. I hope it will happen now. Okay, there you go. Okay, I like that. So all warning lights came on. I'm on limp home mode right now, and we can see on our scope, it just passed by, and our scope just signals there went all crappy, right? At least I think my crank sensor there is still reading signals there. I think what's going on there. I want to see. Oh, maybe later. Let's just review our capture when we'll be parking on a safe spot. Okay, so let's review our capture. Let me just stop this and save this because that was so nice capture when it happened. Okay, so let's go back to our capture when it happened. When I want to accelerate hard. Okay, there you go. That's the side. So first, I was just at the stop sign. We can see our blue, right? Red, and also on our crank signal. See that there's noise there. I don't know where's that noise coming from. So that's noisy. And then when I floored it, this is what's going on here. When I accelerate, let's see what's going on here, because there you go. So we have this reading. Our supply voltage still reads at 4.8, so it was not off, right? Our ground still present, but we can see on our signals here that it's a little bit noisy, right? And when the noise happens there, you see this ground here, that's a lot. Well, it's not a lot, but it's almost 1 volt there when it went up. And our power supply, the blue one, it was almost 5.96 volts. So, and our crank signal, you can see here, that's not good, right? Okay, so let me try go there and see, move those leads, if it will make any difference. Okay, so I wiggled that connection. It didn't do anything. So I don't think it's my connection there. I use a pierce probe there because I don't want to make a chance that it's gonna, I call that, I push something on the pins there, right? Let me try. So there's still, so I'm just revving right now. There, I was just revving right now. As you can see there, warning lights came on. Let me stop it. So something is making oh no. So my laptop just died. I guess we can just duplicate it by just revving the engine. So let's go back to the shop and see what's going on in this one. Alright guys, so we're back in the shop. So while I'm charging my laptop. So I just went through to our wiring diagram again and see what's involved in that GC101 and the way it's making that what we call that noise on the signal. Could be an interference, they call it interference. So I just went through our wiring diagram here and I went to page number 4 and we see this ignition coil and they go through our GC101, right? So that can cause to an interference if there's something going on, especially on our ignition coil. So I added a new channel, yellow one. That's gonna be our ground for our cylinder number 2, right? And then on our, let's go to page 8. So since we know that there's some noise or interference going on their signals, power, ground, and sensor signal, so I took out our power supply probe here, or the signal, and then I went to our map sensor signal, and let's see if they exhibit the same type of interference, since they shared all power here, the map sensor, crank, and the camshaft, right? And if it affects also the map sensor signal. So let's go inside the car and let's start this car and then let's see. Okay, so my scope is running right now. I'm gonna start this vehicle. Okay, so green trace, same thing. That's our crank signal. Let me 5. Let's put 10 here. On our ground, let's put 5.2. Yellow, that's the ground, 5. And the blue one, that's gonna be our map sensor signal. So let's see why there's so much spikes there. This is just ground, especially on the yellow. Let me move this. Play again. There's so much spikes there, especially on the yellow side. Stop. Zoom in. So this is our ground. Yellow crank sensor. Blue is our what do you call that? Our map sensor signal, and red is our ground for the crank sensor. And you can see here, just by looking at it right now, and let me go up a little bit, let me remove this guy. So you see this spike here. Let's put it up first. You can see there's a spike there on our, if you follow my mouse, on the yellow, it coincides on our red, right? That lines up. Our green, does it have a spike? There's a small spike there on top. And our blue, there's a spike there. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's play this and try to rev it up. And there's so much spike there. So I'm gonna try to rev it up because earlier it was we duplicated the issue when we just elevate the RPM, right? There, that's a lot of noise there. Now how come I don't have any warning lights here? Okay, let's stop this. Check our capture here. Same thing on our map signal. You see that affects that That noise there, that's a lot of noise. See that? Our crank here, I guess it didn't trigger when we were doing that. And then let's go down. That's our ground for our crank sensor, and this is our ground for our ignition coil. Now the question is it the ignition coil that's making that type of noise? Right? There's a chance. Or is it my ground connection to GC101 that's not connected correctly? It's dirty or something like that. What should we do next on this one? And I know that connection there is too tight on the transmission. It's gonna be on the body between, no, not between, it's near the body of the vehicle on the transmission. I don't know if my hand can squeeze in there, unless I'm gonna remove the transfer case and not the transfer case, the mount on the transfer case, and lower a little bit the transmission. And to do that, because that noise affects also the map signal, right? So something is giving that interference to our signals on our circuits. And the common, because it also gives that interference to our ground side going to from our ignition coil. Let me see if I have some extra ignition coil on this vehicle. Maybe try swapping it. But I did also only on cylinder number 2. Do you think it will affect with other cylinders if I have only one cylinder that's making that type of noise or interference? I'm not sure, as this is my first time to encounter this issue. What I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna go try to clean that ground. Let's see, we start from there. If not, I'm gonna start replacing the ignition coil and see. But let me try to clean the ground. At least there's no parts needed for that. Doing that is just my time that's gonna be wasted on that. But yeah, let me try to do that, and let's come back and check again our signals here in our scope if we have the same capture. Alright guys, so I removed some of our components here, the inhibitor switch and this spark release component, because our ground GC101 is at the very top one there in our transmission. So that guy there, I had to lower our transmission area because I have to remove the mount here so that I can have more space there, but there's still a little bit space there, but it's better. I also clean our ground here and our ground here, right? So let's see, after this I'm gonna put everything back together and then let's see our readings again. Okay, so lastly, before we're gonna do some testing, I went to the trunk of the vehicle, remove the spare tire compartment. We're gonna clean the ground too here, so we're gonna remove trim pieces, whatever is here. So let me just remove this negative cable here, and then our ground connection will be under this guy here, so you can see there. Let's take off some paint there. There's a lot of paint there. I'm just gonna use sandpaper, right? And so the same thing what I did on the transmission side, when I clean the ground, I just use sandpaper there. clean. I'm gonna clean also this cable here, the eyelet where the bolt goes in. So I'm gonna clean that and put everything back together, and then let's check our scope capture again. Okay, so after we clean the ground, same thing on our scope. Blue is the map sensor signal, green is the crank, red will be our ground for our crank sensor, and the yellow will be the ground and the ignition coil, cylinder number 2. So let's start this up and see our scope capture if we have some noise still on that, on these signals here. So I'm gonna start this. Okay, definitely there's still some noise there. That's a lot of noise. That's on our ground side. Wow. Let's stop this again. Let's zoom in. Yeah, that's noise. That's a lot of noise though. Our red. That's on the ground. Is it the same as on the yellow? Yeah, there's a lot of noise. Let me adjust the voltages on this one so that it's not too obvious or not too crowded here on our readings. Yeah. Let me try to rev the engine. Yeah, they're still there. Yeah, they're still there. Let me stop this. So I think I'm gonna try to change my ground connection here, just to make sure that it's on battery ground or a good ground, and let's see if it makes any difference here in our scope capture. But I don't think so, but I'll just cover my bases. And since I'm doing on the other side there, torque converter on our GV70, it's a recall. There's an accessible ignition coil there. Maybe I can do a ignition coil swap between that engine to this engine. So let me set up my ground first and retest this again and see. Okay, so I just hook up our ground. Let's play our capture again. Yeah, it's the same thing. There's still some noise there. Yeah, that's a good ground. So something else is triggering that interference here. Let me try to swap some ignition coils and yeah, let's see. Okay, so I just swapped ignition coil. I think they did some work on the engine area, because when I was removing the ignition coil, the foam that's covering the ignition coil is not installed correctly. So but let's see here. I don't know what they did before. Playing it right now. Start the vehicle. We still have noise there. Still a lot of noise. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna return the ignition coil to the other engine, and I guess we're gonna drive this outside and see. Alright guys, so we're in the road right now, just driving this vehicle. We got some noises still there, but let's see if our cleaning on the ground helps on what's going on this vehicle. Okay, so let's try this. Pedal to the floor. Okay, so far it's okay, but the signal's still noisy. Okay, nothing's going on yet. I still have a lot of electrical noise on our signals here. I'm not sure if the one that I was cleaning the ground on the transmission, if it's also the crank is there, or like I have to review my wiring diagram, because I know that I hook up my sensor ground on the crank sensor for the crank sensor in the computer. So let me try one more here. Pedal to the floor, because so far it didn't happen to me. Okay, there you go. I just felt the jolt. Okay, there you go. Okay. So there's still an issue. I can see here. I'm gonna show you guys on our capture. I'm gonna go park in the safe place first, and then let's review the data again, because we got still the same issue here. Okay, so let's check our data when it happened. Okay, there you go. This is the signal when it happened here. So my yellow, that's gonna be the map sensor signal here. We still have this crank. The blue one is still the 5-volt reference or 5-volt supply to the sensor, and the red is the ground sensor. Let's zoom in here. That's a lot of noise. That's a lot of noise. And it's still a lot of noise, and you can see here. Oops, it's too much. So it was nice and clean here in this area, and then it starts going. You see that? There's space in between there. That's a lot of space. I don't know what's going on there, but that's a lot of electrical noise. And I just scan for codes here. I just went to engine side and see what we have. We still have this crankshaft position sensor, circuit performance. Let's go to the service and oh, I don't have internet. So let's go back to the shop. I don't know what's my next process on this one. But let's see first where's this, because it could be I have to clean all the other grounds, like the computer grounds and everything, because this is not good. I think this is the first one that when it starts jolting. Let me see here. Let's go out first. And there's this guy. Okay, so I rev because we can see on our map signal it went down. So that's when I pedal to the floor. So you can see here in this area. Yeah, that's too much noise. And this is the one I see when there's too much space and our crank signal here. Yeah, that's too much noise. So let's go back to the shop, and then I'm gonna see our wiring diagram again, and I guess I'm just gonna start cleaning up other ground, computer ground, transmission ground, whatever I see in the ground on the engine bay. I'm gonna start cleaning those, and I guess we'll see again. Alright guys, so I just removed our air box here to access our ground here for computer grounds, and one main ground at the bottom. Also I did the ground here too. I cleaned those two grounds there, and there's one cable there for the ground, so 3, and one for ground there for our transmission control module. So let me put everything back together again, and let's check again our signals. Alright guys, so I changed some leads positions. So since we got some CAN bus or communication errors, I went to the CCAN. So we're here now on the CCAN, and I just went to the easiest access connection. So I found this JE02 that's gonna be on your near the fuse box on the engine bay. So that area there, right, we got CAN high and CAN low there, so that's gonna be a red and green. So we got CAN high and CAN low. So I just want to monitor that when everything gets weird, right, when we're gonna go drive. And then second will be, I said that why I wanted the GC101, because let's go back here, not this guy here, number 8, oops, sorry, number 8. We want the GC101 because to clean the ground because of this shielded ground, right? So now if everything's still not working, because the purpose of the shielded wire is to protect any interference going to the signal, right? In this case, our crank sensor signal, that's covering these wires here to protect for any interference, any electrical noises and everything. So could be if it's still not working after I clean all the other grounds in the engine bay, maybe we have an issue here. So I still don't know, because this is my first time seeing this type of issue. But yeah, we're gonna go for a drive and see if when it happens, when the issue happens, does our CAN network here also get disrupted. So let's see. Okay, so we've got our trace here, red, green, that's for our communication lines. Blue is our crank sensor, and the yellow is the map sensor signal. Okay, so let's see if our issue is still here. I can still see some noises here on our signals. And there's some noise there. Okay, there you go. It went wonky again. It jolted. It did jolt. There, jolt again. And every time it jolt, I can see the noise on our signals, especially on our crank and map.
In 300 meters, traffic light camera.
Okay, pedal to the floor. Let's see. Oh? Why? Oh my God. I didn't do anything. Okay, I'm gonna go around again and see. Okay, one more try. Let's see. What? Didn't do anything? Why? Didn't do anything. Try this again. That's weird.
In 300 meters, traffic light camera ahead.
Earlier I just felt the jolt. I'm gonna do one more and last, and then I'm gonna go, because my camera battery is running low and my laptop is running low too in battery, so I need to go to the shop, maybe take a rest a little bit. So I guess my laptop just died. So we're not seeing now the signals. So I'm gonna try one more. If that's what? Don't tell me it's fixed. But like when I see the crank signal earlier, so far the noise of it compared before is not there anymore, like not rampant or not consistent, right? I just saw the electrical noise there in the signal when I felt the first jolt, but after that I don't feel any jolt now. And that's how I've been testing this, by accelerating hard, pedal to the floor. But right now it looks like it's responding well now. Question there is, did cleaning of grounds help? I don't know. I need to do one more, and then before going back to the shop. Okay, here's one more. I know I don't have any recording on my scope now, but oh wow, it's way better now. So I guess I'm gonna go drive this later on, after I charge this laptop. I'm gonna go for a drive again and see if we still have this weird issue, and yeah, we'll see from there. Alright guys, so this is my second test drive after that cleaning of the grounds, computer ground, and the rest of the ground in the engine bay. So we're gonna try this again and see if the issue still persists, because as I said earlier, that it happened only one jolt, and then after that it didn't do anything at all. Like, looks like the car is driving normal now. So I'm gonna go floor it. Okay, that's good.
In 300 meters, traffic light camera ahead.
So same thing. Red is the can high, C can. Green is C can low, and blue is the crank sensor, and the yellow is the map signal. So let's try this again and see. So I changed my time base there in our scope. Let's see. Okay, at least this is clear. I'm gonna floor it. That's good. I like that. So far my, what do you call that? My crank signal is not too noisy, unlike before. Oh, too much acceleration there. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna go around one more, floor it, and then let's check our data. Okay, so one more run here. Oh, yeah, that's good. So I don't see anything on the signals here. No noise. There's some noise there, but not too bad. And the acceleration, I didn't feel any jolting there. So I'm gonna go back to the shop and let's see our data here in our scope. Okay, so here's our scope capture. It's still running live right now. Okay, let's just let's zoom in here and see. And you can see here there's some spikes there in our communication. Let me zoom in more. There at the end. I'm not too worried about that, right? What I was worried last time was the noise on the crank sensor. So like this, right? But right now I think that's way better than before, right? This before was like, I don't know what's going on with that one. And our map signal here, there's some noise there, but I don't think I'm gonna be worried of that one. So let me try pressing that live. So that's running. I'm gonna do some couple of raising the RPM, because last time we can duplicate that issue. Okay, let's stop this. Let's see that. Where's the RPM? So we can see here when it darkens that crank signal, meaning the engine is spinning fast, right? So I'm gonna go in there and see what we have. So we still have that, but not too bad compared to last time, right? Last time was, let me open that while waiting for that. So full system scan is done. So far no codes there, which is good, right? 0 DTCs. Okay, cancel here, file open. Where's that crank signal? 2023 GV70. So this one is after cleaning ground, this one after cleaning ground. So let's see here. This is my scope capture one. I still there was still noisy there after cleaning the engine ground, oh, not the engine ground but transmission ground, like the GC101, right? So where's the bad one here when I felt that jolt? This is running right now. I didn't do anything in there, but look at that. There's some noise there. Let me zoom in here. Is it bad noise? No, it's not that bad, but that's still electrical noise there. But when I want accelerate, so I think this one here. Yeah, there's some electrical noise here. I don't know if it's the same as the other one. But last time when I saw it, there was like a gap, two gaps on the what's this capture? Let's go move one more. Okay, let's try this guy. No. Okay. How about this one here? And then here, I think this is, yeah, there's too much noise there. You see that? So that's our crank sensor there. So There's noise 800 millivolts, right from 4.8 to the maybe the peak of that noise there. So let me try on this capture here that we have. So we have some noise too on our crank sensor. You can see there, and zoom in here. Okay, that's our voltage reading now, 4.9. 5. Okay, that's good. That's 5. And then top the highest point of that noise, electrical noise, and the delta on that one from 5 volts going up is 147 millivolts, right? But at least compared to my older capture, our voltage there 4.9. okay, 4.9. Let me open another one, the one that has I think this is the one here. No, this one here. Okay, I think this is the one here. Okay, so this with map signals here. So now our voltage here, that's 4.8, 4.9. okay. Okay, so this is when I want accelerate, okay, because our map signal went down. So I'm gonna zoom in here because I think this is where we found issue. Oops, that's too much. Okay, here. Okay, here. So I'm gonna measure that crank signal, 4.9 more or less, and the highest peak of that electrical noise, so the change is 1.35 volts, right? And compared to our new capture here, 100 millivolts change. And our map signal, there's some electrical noise there, but compared to our old capture, and you can see there, this guy here, yellow one, that's a lot of noise there. I'm just gonna check our voltage here. What's the voltage there? So from 2.2 to what, 2 volts, 4 volts, the spike. So clearly, and the cleaning of the computer ground, and what do you call that, and the rest of the ground there on the engine bay help. I know I said last time on our test drive that I felt the jolt. After that one jolt that I felt, there was no more drivability issue when I was just accelerating hard. And we did our second test drive again with this capture, and so far it's better than before, like way better than before. Let's check here. So just this idle, let's zoom in here on idle. Yeah, so not bad. There's some electrical noise there, but I think I'm not concerned that compared to the last time that was so, like, the signal was so ugly, right? So what I'm gonna do with this vehicle is I'm gonna let it sit for overnight again and drive it again one more time by me, and then I'm gonna ask one of the valley drivers to drive it around for the rest of the day and see if that issue still happens or if it still keeps happening or not. Then I'll update you guys and we'll see. Alright guys, so I hope this is gonna be my last test drive for this vehicle. We're driving in the highway right now. I'm gonna floor it. So far the vehicle drives normally, responds well, right? And as my scope capture here, so far our electrical noise is minimized. Like, it's not that bad compared to before cleaning all those grounds in the engine bay. So yeah, I think I'm happy with this. Let me try. Yeah, it's responding very, very well. So it was just, I guess we had an issue with our grounds, especially I guess in the computer grounds, because we saw those electrical noises on our crank sensor, ground crank sensor supplied 5 volts, and I guess it affects the signal on it, because first we tried to clean the ground on the transmission side, because that's the shielded wire that's going to the transmission, and we also tried to we thought that it's gonna be on the ignition coil side too, but yeah, so far it's good. So I'm gonna do one more acceleration here before I go back to the shop and end this video. It's kind of long now but wow, okay, so that's good. I'm happy with that. So yeah, that was so rare, and it was my first time to see that type of fault that keeps, you know, occurring or happening. I guess yeah, it's just a bad ground, I guess, and the ECU ground, I guess. I know I clean other grounds in the engine bay, but the only thing I can think of is the that affects that ground sensor, which is we measured on the crank sensor, is coming from the computer, right? So anyway, I'm happy with the result so far. No more jolting, and the car responds very, very well. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that very long video. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this, but yeah, let me know what you guys think, and thanks again for watching. See you next time.